One day you'll be taking a look in the mirror and think to yourself, how the hell did I get here? And you're not alone. Obesity is skyrocketing in America. If it was on a stock market, I'd buy all the shares I could and hold it, because the sad fact is that most people would choose convenience over health. But since you've clicked this video, I have a slight feeling you want to change things for the better. And as a dude who used to be fat, I have some credibility here. So I'm dropping
elite weight loss ball knowledge.
Starting from the most important step, putting work in at the gym. Even though you can lose fat with a caloric deficit alone, hitting the gym will make your progress so much faster. And by hitting the gym, I mean lifting weights, not running on a treadmill for 60 minutes. As a bonus, if you've never trained before, you have a big opportunity here, called body recomposition. You will easily build muscle because of newbie gains, and lose fat at the same time. The more muscles you gain, the more energy your body requires, meaning that if you keep up a caloric deficit, your body will pull that energy straight from the fat and give it to the muscles. I also have a dedicated video for complete gym beginners you might want to check out after this. The next piece of knowledge personally played a huge part in my weight loss journey: walking more. This is super slept on, especially in the big US of A, because we drive everywhere. To put things in perspective, let's take 10,000 steps a day for example. That is roughly 300 to 500 calories, depending on your weight, which might not sound like a lot, but it's actually a whole double cheeseburger at McDonald's. And if you don't eat McDonald's while trying to lose weight, which I hope you aren't, the calories burned from 10k steps makes up about 6 to 7 large eggs, which means you can eat a fat-ass breakfast and have it fully burned at the end of the day. You might think,
well, then why not just do some cardio like running?
And that's a solid thought process, but you gotta take into account how much fatigue running causes versus simply walking throughout the day. Depending on your fitness level, 10,000 steps is really nothing, and you won't get tired at all, and will basically just burn calories for free. If it is actually hard for you to walk that much, then do what you can and just try to walk a little more each day. When you start actively thinking about walking more, it gets way easier to hit those 10k. Little things add up, like choosing stairs instead of an elevator every day. It can rack up a ton of extra burned calories. For example, let's say you live on the 3rd floor and you get in and out of the crib 2 times a day. You'll burn about 30 to 50 extra calories. It doesn't look like much on paper, but every decision you make compounds over time. Walking will burn calories, but how about saving some? Diet drinks are basically a cheat code for cutting. The regular and diet versions taste basically the same, but one has enough sugar to cause diabetes and the other literally has the same amount of calories as water. This is a no-brainer. Some people go crazy on them during cuts. I'm talking Diet Coke instead of water type of crazy, but I can't see that being overall healthy. But if you're feeding for something sweet to spike your dopamine, a diet soda would be much better than eating any sugary snack. This also applies to energy drinks. I think to most gym pros, me included, an energy drink is basically a daily thing. But if you're cutting, the Ultra Monsters or any other zero-calorie option will save you about 200 calories before every workout. For some reason, I used to think that all energy drinks are zero sugar, but it turns out that I'm a dumbass. So if you're anything like me, just keep that in mind. Unfortunately, there are no zero-calorie options for food, but by making food at home, you'll at least have control over how many calories actually go in. This is something we all already do, unless you're a millionaire who can afford to eat out every day or have a private chef in your crib. But there are some tricks that will make your food more filling and have less calories. First up is volume. Because your stomach doesn't have a built-in calorie tracker, it tracks your hunger bar by the amount of food in your inventory. So if you fill it up with stuff like egg whites, popcorn, or a mountain of veggies instead of a small plate of something dense like a slice of cake, your brain thinks that you just ate a feast, even though you barely touched your calories for the day. Second, protein in every meal. Protein keeps you fuller than any other micronutrient, like carbohydrates or fats. Your body actually burns 20 to 30% of its calories just by digesting it. And as a teeny tiny little side note, not like it's a big deal or anything, it's the most important nutrient to actually build muscle you spend hours training in the gym. And last but not least, oil. 1 tablespoon of oil is like 120 calories. And when you're just pouring it straight from the bottle into the pan, you have no idea how much you're actually using. Besides, while some are beneficial like quality olive oil, most most of the other shit is horrible for your overall health. You're not Diddy Twin. Get yourself an air fryer and ditch the oils altogether, or use butter for your pan. Oh, and by the way, sauces can also quickly add unwanted calories. Of course, I'm not saying that you should eat everything dry, but just consider swapping things like mayo or sour cream to Greek yogurt. Ketchup and barbecue look innocent, but most of them have a ton of added sugar, so check the labels before you buy them. All of these get you basically the same taste for a fraction of the calories, and you choose the much healthier option as well. I know nobody wants to hear this one, but to know for sure how much you're eating, tracking your calories is the only way. Yes, it's a pain in the ass, and LARPers in the fitness space use this pain to sell you some bullshit weight loss program where you don't need to track calories. I personally think that this is necessary to lose serious weight, and for me personally, this was the thing that helped. There are actual studies proving that people severely underestimate their daily caloric intake without tracking. This is the guaranteed way to lose fat. If you track properly and don't lie to yourself, put in the right information to see how much calories you actually need daily, and eat below your maintenance, there's a 0% chance that you won't lose fat after a good amount of time. There are a bunch of apps that help with this, and you can actually see how much you can eat throughout the day in real time. The only real downside of this is purely how much time it consumes. But with consistency, it'll become a habit, and the time spent will be much worth it. Yet sometimes, even if you do everything perfectly, you can still catch yourself snacking. And surprisingly, poor sleep can be at fault. This is definitely some elite ball knowledge. If you don't get at least 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, ghrelin, also known as the hunger hormone, goes up, and leptin, the full hunger bar hormone, goes down. And on top of that, your prefrontal cortex, or in simpler terms, the part of your brain responsible for decision making and impulse control, gets more sluggish, and your willpower tanks, which makes it harder for you to resist the tasty food. And the final nail in the coffin is poor sleep completely halts your muscle recovery after the gym. So basically, doom scrolling into the AM is sabotaging your cut severely. You're trying to lose weight while hungrier, less disciplined, recovering shittier, and just overall tired, all at the same time. Similarly, eating too fast can cause you to not feel full at all, and then end up snacking right after getting a meal in. I think it's safe to say that most of us devour our food in 3 minutes while watching something on our phones or TV, me included. And while the solution is simple, turning off that screen and enjoying the meal slowly, nobody will actually do it. So if you insist on eating like an animal, the restarted method is drinking like 2 or 3 glasses of water before or after your meal, and consciously resisting the urge to eat more until you feel your hunger bar fill up within the next 20 minutes or so. But even if you do everything right, you might still catch yourself craving for junk food. And believe it or not, all that ultra-processed shit causes an actual addiction that works just like a smoking or alcohol addiction. It spikes your dopamine the same way any other drug would, and because our brains are still in caveman mode, it'll chase that high for as long as it can. And even though everybody likes to say that cheat meals or cheat days are okay once in a while, if you have a real problem with processed food, you should stay as far away from it. Like imagine you gave a recovering crackhead the same advice. Yeah bro, it's okay to tweak once in a while, go ahead. Of course he's gonna go back to being a full-on tweaker. If you've tried to lose weight more than once and failed, there's a good chance that you have a real addiction. But this doesn't mean that you can't have anything delicious on a Friday afternoon. Whatever you're craving, sweet or salty, you can find a healthy alternative that you can make yourself. It'll have half the calories, and you remove the convenience aspect of it. So you have to put in time and effort to get that treat, which you bypass by getting food from the store or getting DoorDash. Talking about Friday nights, alcohol has way more calories than you realize. Let's play a little game. Imagine you went out with your friends and you drank 3 beers and 4 shots of liquor. How many calories do you think this will make you consume? If you chose C, you are correct. And that's not accounting for all the shitty food you would order, and so on. Also, alcohol fucks up your sleep, so consequentially, you'll not only be fighting the debuffs from a hangover the next morning, but also shitty sleep. But if you want to have a social life, going out is pretty much unavoidable. But you have to be smart about it if you're serious about losing weight. And the weirdest thing about alcohol is that you might wake up the next day weighing less because of dehydration, which leads us into the next point. Don't trust the scale day to day. Water retention, sodium, hormones, hell, even creatine can cause your weight to fluctuate 2 to 5 pounds every day. Take the weekly average instead. For people that are just starting out, this is usually a huge demotivator. When they see their weight go up, even though they're doing everything right. I personally just don't like using a scale in general. I think the mirror is a much better way to see progress. I recommend taking before pictures every once in a while, simply because it's such a huge motivator to see how much progress you've actually made. Now you have the forbidden knowledge, and if you apply it every day, you're guaranteed to make progress. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comments. I'll try my best to respond to you guys.
Hear me? Hit the rollie, start with the rollie on. What was our getaway car? Jag portfolio.